This is the lesson for 5-2 titled Parallel and Perpendicular Lines. And so it's another topic that we looked at in Chapter 4, and so let's take a look at it. So first of all, we've got two parallel lines, and I know they're parallel because of this little symbol right here. Shows that I have parallel lines when I've got another one just like that going in the same direction. So A and B are parallel. And we have an exterior area. Exterior is up above A or below B. And so interior is inside the two parallel lines, so below A and above B. T is called our transversal. Transversal is just when a line goes across two lines. And so the transversal ends up forming four angles with A and four angles with B. And we have some relationships with those. So corresponding angles are ones that lie on the same side of the transversal. So for instance, 1, 3, 5, and 7 are all on the same side of the transversal. But there are some angles that are going to be exactly the same, or congruent, and they are corresponding. So if they are the same side of the transversal and the same side of lines A and B, so for instance like 1 and 5, so angle 1 and angle 5 are an example of corresponding angles. I'd also have maybe 2 and 6. So angle 2 and 6 are also going to end up being corresponding, same side of the transversal, same side above A and above B. So we also have 3 and 7, so angle 3 and angle 7, and I also have angle 4 and 8, so angle 4 and angle 8. So those are corresponding angles. They're exactly the same. They're congruent as long as we have parallel lines. So alternate interior angles are going to be non-adjacent angles that are going to be on opposite sides of the transversal. So for instance, 4 and 5 are going to end up being alternate interior angles. 3 and 6 are also alternate interior angles. And so alternate exterior angles, same sort of thing except on the outside of the two parallel lines, so above A and below B. So 1 and 8 are going to end up being alternate exterior angles. And I also have angle 2 and 7. So angle 2 and angle 7. So same side interior angles lie on the same side of the transversal. And they're between A and B. So for instance, 3 and 5 would be same side interior angle, and I'd also have 3 and 5, I have to write that in there, and I also have angle 4 and angle 6. Now those aren't the same, but as long as these are parallel, these are actually going to end up being supplementary angles. They're going to add to make 180. Linear pairs are ones that add to make 180, so two angles that make a straight angle. So some examples would be like angle 1 and angle 3. See, those are linear pairs because they form a straight angle. Also, I could say angle 1 and angle 2 would be just another example of that. So we're going to be using these concepts to solve problems now. So let's take a look at them. So I've got these two parallel lines, and I've got the transversal. And what they're asking for is HBD. So here's H, B, and D. They want to know what this angle is. Well, it doesn't say what it is. It says 3x plus 42, but I know it equals GDF. So it's corresponding. So we'll say it's corresponding to angle, and we'll say GDF. GDF. So that means they're equal. So what I'm going to end up doing is setting 3x plus 42 equal to 5x. And then I'll go ahead and solve that equation. And so I'll subtract the 3x from both sides. So I want to isolate the variable. That leaves me with 42 equals 2x. I'll divide by 2. And that's where I'm getting x equals 21. Now that's just the value of x. That's not what HD or HBD is. So what I need to do next is substitute. Take that x value and substitute it in for this x here, and then multiply by 3 and add 42. So I go ahead and multiply 3 times 21 gives me 63. And then when I add 42 to that, I end up getting 105 degrees. So 105 degrees is the answer for the measure of angle HBD. Now they want me to find the measure of angle BDE. Well, BDE DE is this angle right here. And so what that's going to be is an alternate interior to HBD. So we'll say that it's an alternate interior angle to angle, and we said DE is what they're looking for, so HBD. And so we already found HBD. It's 105, so we're going to say it equals 105 degrees. So that's what these different rules are good for, is they help us find different measures of angles quickly. So angle ABC, well, that's vertical to HBD. So I'm going to say vertical to angle HBD, and that's what we learned on the last section about vertical angles being congruent. So that's also going to end up being 105 degrees. And let's take a look at our last one here from this example, HBA. So HBA, so it's this little angle right here, but I know that HBA and HBD form a straight angle. So I'm going to say supplementary to angle HBD. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to subtract 105, and that's what the HBD was. And so when I subtract those two angles, that's going to give me my number, 75 degrees. So let's take a look at another example here. And we've got EFB, so EF to B, so this angle right here, we need to find its measure. We don't have it, so we have to look at other information we've got. Well, since these two angles, or these two lines are parallel, and this is the transversal right here, and I could say that 4x and 2x plus 60 are the same thing. So I'm going to say it's alternate interior to angle, and then I'm going to say FBD, angle FBD. And so what that's going to give me is an equation to set up. 2x plus 60 equals 4x. And so from this point I can go ahead and solve by doing some opposite operations. So I'm going to subtract the 2x from all sides. So I'm left with 60 equals 2x. And then I can divide by 2. And that's going to give me my value of x. So x is 30. So I found that, but they want me to find the measure of EFB. So I need to substitute that back in for the x right here. And so I've got 2x plus 60. But in place of that x, let me rewrite the 30. So times by 30 and then plus the 60. So this gives me 60. When I multiply those two numbers and add them together, I get 120 degrees. So that is that measure of this angle. So now they want me to answer some other information. So measure of angle EFH. EFH. Well, that's this little angle here, and it's supplementary to EFB. So I'm going to say supplementary to angle EFB. And so what that tells me is I can just take 180 and subtract what I found in that last problem. EFB was 120. And so that gives me 60 degrees, and so that's got to be that angle. So CBD now, CBD, it's this little angle right here. Now notice I've already got EFH. So I'm going to say it's alternate exterior to angle, and then we said EFH. EFH. So we already found EFH, and that was 60 degrees. So since alternate interior angles are congruent, as long as the lines are parallel, it means it's 60 degrees. BFG. So BF. Let's see, where's my F there? There it is. G. This little angle right here. Well, it corresponds to CBD. So we'll say corresponds to angle CBD. So again, BFG corresponds to CBD. Since they've got parallel lines and a transversal, That means they're exactly the same. 60 degrees would be our answer. There's lots of other ways to find them. As long as you're getting these same numbers here, you've got the right answer, as long as you tell me how you came up with those. So we could have said, instead of that, could have said it's vertical. So BFG is vertical to EFH, since we've already found EFH, and that would have given us the same answer, 60 degrees. So those are types of problems you're going to see on tonight's homework. Good luck.